The Highway Life, based on a true story.
Coming along?
Mom said not to be taking a ride from no strangers.
This is the bus to the Highway Life.
I'm Bolo. Bolo Big.
I'm Joey Smalls. It's about to go down.
Well, that's the first time. We got geese, ducks. Forgot to fly south, apparently. Anyways, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Bolo Biggs. Welcome back to the Highway Life. So today is Saturday, the 1st of December. Raining again. Getting you guys caught up. Yesterday, Marcus, my buddy Marcus, and his son came out. Randy came out and helped me finish the 80% of the ceiling. We needed 3 people, if you guys remember from my last episode, and you'll actually see the whole process. I let the camera run, so I got to go back tonight and do a lot of editing. We didn't talk much about what we were doing, so I'm gonna, when I cut it, I'm gonna narrate it, and you'll understand why we needed 3 people. I thought it was important to let the video run so you guys see the full process of how tough it could be to do a tongue and groove ceiling. What I'm gonna do today is address those areas that I need to point out. So if you guys see the different outfit, it's because the 2 videos joined together. Anyways, let's go. Okay, so the hardest part about doing a tongue and groove ceiling is, well, 2, is the curvature where it starts, and the fact that you're doing it upside down versus, say, doing a floor tongue and groove. And the distance that I'm covering is about 14-15 feet. So you need 2 people to hold it up, to place it, to make sure you're in the groove with the tongue, and then somebody to drill and put screws in. And you'll see that throughout the video. But the absolute hardest part is hitting that curvature. Am I even saying that word correctly? Curvature? Whatever. This is the curve that I'm talking about. That is vicious. When you connect the tongue and groove there, it's almost impossible if you go with a big board. Now, that's if you want to run flat flush to the curve. I have seen folks use 5.5, 6 inch boards, but then you got a lot of back spacing to it. And you know how I feel about pockets. My boards are almost 90% flush to the rib on this turn. And then as you get further, it's 100% flush. Because you have to connect the 2 at the turn, you're gonna have a little bit of a gap. It's not gonna be 100%, but you're still gonna be better than a bigger, wide board. The way you're gonna get around that curve, guys, is with a narrower, N-A-R-R-O-W-E-R board.
In my black truck.
Don't break it off. Oh, it's already up in.
Come to me. Before we fight it on there.
Flush. I'm good. This one's off.
Yeah, it's got a bend. There it is.
Good.
And it was at this moment your boy Biggs forgot to put the wires through.
Oh, fuck no. Just too soon. Got it. Yep. All right.
What's your electrical plan for these lights?
I thought I marked like 3 of these. Oh, we
These
cut them
go in
already.
the air, and then you plan on jumping.
Jumping here.
Going down to here,
This is gonna be capped off so I can run along the back here.
and you connect them together along the
Yeah.
back there.
My wires isn't fastened to the ceiling, to the foam. I wanted it that way so that if I needed to, I can pull it back and forth if I have any issues. As we add each board, that board help distribute holding up the wire. Your wire doesn't fall back through. I just tied a knot.
So this is the only important part. It goes on the inside of that lift there. You see? It goes on the inside.
Okay.
So I think if we take it right to the foam, I left us enough to just come right to the foam.
Okay.
So this will slide on and hide everything anyway. But if we have to go shorter, just figure we have about a good almost inch and a half from the fan to here this way. So we don't have to go over the foam.
Slide that up in there.
Put some fucking glue on it.
All right, I guess we should just hold it up there so I can
Trace it.
mark it and have to be
It doesn't have to be perfect.
jigsawed out.
Okay.
No, there's one more that's cut. Should be about right there. You good on your length?
May 16th.
It looks like that needs to be 1.7 inches.
The measurements that you saw Marcus take before we got off the bus was so that he can transfer the cutout that we need to make onto the tongue and groove to compensate for the fan. And we will use a jigsaw to cut that.
This wire.
Hey. It's marine grade, but it's 12 volts. Not used to that 110, 115, 120 you are.
You ain't trying.
No, I think the board is. I think
It
this
was
board's
in.
like-
What happened?
I think this board's a little warm.
There we go. Now we're together.
You need any distance on that?
Yeah. I'll put an 8 for you.
In your way?
Yep.
Good.
Nail it.
You good?
Yeah, you need the drill.
Yeah, I'll just wait for you.
Pass me a screw, please.
See us tapping the boards on the ledge here because we're moving it back and forth so that I have an even line all the way down. This is where I am joining the next piece that finishes the length. We used a soft mallet and just tap it back and forth. We're telling each other we need a 16th or we need an 1/8. Other thing that we do with the mallet is we tap the boards. That helps it move the board along and pop into the groove, and then it closes the seam. We actually do use I think 4 drills throughout the process. You'll see us handing it off to each other. We had a really good routine going as to not slow each other down, but it was also important to have multiple because that way we're not letting go of the tongue and groove pieces.
Looking fancy in this bus. Do you plan on staining this?
Well, I was actually going to see what Mark thought.
I
No.
would stain it.
Not now. Oh, yeah, we should. I was painting it. Never mind. I was painting it. That's why we didn't care about the hole. Because we tried to go through with the tongue, but it cracked.
It's too much at a hard angle
Yeah.
with rolling the wall.
Why wouldn't you stain it now?
Because every screw hole, the stain doesn't stain the same color as the wood.
The bus. Okay. See the
What?
holes.
Fuck that.
No, I'm covering the holes and then I'm painting it.
Yeah, it's all gonna be painted.
Yeah. Plus, I got to seal it.
I just like the wood grain. Once you paint it, you
I'm
don't-
going to
you
have
don't
wood grain throughout. I think it would be overkill. It'll look like I'm living in a log.
I would love that.
No, a lot of people.
Like a log carved out
A lot of
inside.
people like that rusted look.
I love the log look.
Throughout the video, you'll see that we put one piece at a time and then screw one piece at a time. When you place your board, you want to screw it away from the next piece that's going to go on so that you don't fasten it down so hard that you can't get it on. You'll tack it here, just like the other one. So this tack actually holds this board, and so on and so on.
Alright, we better cut these. Get this over. Because this one's gonna be a bit. Trying to make it line up.
You cut that to 140?
In an eighth.
Yeah, I think it was 140 and 8. Or 140.
Goddamn short-term memory.
It was within 8.
Yeah.
Positions.
I think the next should be your lights.
Well, I was going to count it this way. They're roughly even, right?
I'm gonna call this the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Call this the center. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So the next one. How do I?
Now, what sucks is it needs to be 12 was the center of the board.
I won't matter.
12 is not the center of this board. 13 is going to be.
That's fine.
I mean, it can be here, but I can't drill it until we put it up.
I won't even notice it. I don't think anybody will be kind of bored. The only people that are going to know is us three, whoever's on YouTube.
Okay, guys, you actually missed out on a pretty good laugh. My phone died, but you see how Randy's actually taking the tape off? Well, that's to show where my pencil marking is, because it's kind of hard to see. Anyways, Marcus counted the boards, and he's on the right board to cut, and he's at the right marking. However, Randy's used to cutting and drilling to the left of his markings. We only lost one board that day, so I was pretty happy. Good job, Randy.
This is what the fan section looks like. My fan cover will slide in. I'm doing it one hand. And I'll have to trim that down before I fasten it down. And the way I have my wire set up, we just staple it here because I'm going to connect it later. So it runs all the way over. It drops out in this pocket where I'll have my recess light. And then this would jump over to the other side here. And then another light will go in. These wires here will be tied into each other and into my electrical panel box there. I went ahead and ran a separate line, which was originally in this tube. So it's actually behind the wall. That particular light will be controlled by the driver outside of those recessed lights. Kind of like in the interior of your vehicle. Addressing the rear. I got Marcus to help me put down the first piece because I wanted to be lined up and squared. I'm just gonna butt up right to the previous board
run it all the way down. Now, I'm gonna cut one piece at a time because I wanna jam it into my insulation as much as I can. That way I won't have to fill in too much gap. And I'll do that throughout the back, just like that. When I'm done with the ceiling in the rear, what I'm gonna do to clean that off and fasten it well is use any leftover pieces I have and cut it to size and place them one at a time. Because I'm placing them one at a time, my next piece will be right flush to the next board. Say if you were like that, and so on and so on and so on. By placing them one board at a time, it's time consuming, but I won't have to worry about the curve. I'll show you guys at a later time when I do this rear part, because I need to install my camera for the rear. I will have cameras on the side. Actually, I will have cameras all around, all 4 angles. But I don't know what I want to do about the sides yet. That's why I didn't pre-do and pre-drill. I'm not a fan of drilling into my ceiling. I think I can utilize the visors, the aluminum visors for the windows that I used, and then somehow come through the window or through the rear. I am building a wall for my back area, utilizing this frame here all the way over, and that'll be covered with a wall. It will also help fasten to the ceiling here where the rib is. My framing will fasten to that and hold everything back anyway. To address my gap here, because we had to start at a level at a square section, I put painter's tape down, because when I spray my Loctite foam in there, it will get messy. Once it dries, I can just use a razor blade and cut it at the bottom and the top so that it's flush, and then the tape just peels off easily and there's no cleanup. I am so happy with how it turned out. It's freaking incredible. Actually, it's pretty damn hot. I'm so glad that I went with the tongue and groove. Again, if whatever you guys decide to do, I hope this kind of maybe helps with your decision, and or the struggle you may face when you actually put it in. Recapping my roof ceiling. Every screw rivet was cocked. Every seam was cocked. And then I have Tropicool silicone sealed on the roof to help with the temperature and help with the seal. Spray foam was about 2.5, 3 inches. And then I have my board here. It actually was 3.25 inch tongue and groove. Not what I wanted to go with, but fuck it. More insulation, I don't care. So I think that's a lot of protection, really. Well, I got a lot to clean up. The rear, it's just gonna be the same as the front. I will show you guys at a later time how I pin up the rear of my tongue and groove. My next step would be floor plan. That's a whole different beast in itself. I've built this bus in my head, on paper, on scratch, plans, million times. You'll constantly keep changing it because of what obstacles you have, what challenges you have, and what the bus allows you to do. But the most important thing to me is comfort. Number one is comfort when it comes to what I want to include in the bus. And I'll talk about that more in length and what I plan to do. Hope you guys were able to get some good use out of the video. As always, happy, man. I'm happy. I'm so happy right now. Whee! Be good to each other. Your boy Big loves you. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Deuces. And thanks for watching. Yeah, we got
current situation here. Got cameras everywhere. Yeah. At that stage.